Edestus, the scissor-jawed shark. If sharks are already scary, Edestus said, let's get weird. Living about 300 million years ago, this prehistoric shark had jaws shaped like giant scissors. Instead of losing teeth in neat rows like modern sharks, Edestus grew new ones that pushed the old ones forward in a curve, forming serrated blades. Its nickname? The scissor-toothed shark. Scientists think it used its mouth to slice prey in half, swinging its head like a hedge trimmer of death. Fossils show it reached up to 20 feet long, making it a genuine sea monster of the Carboniferous. Imagine swimming next to what looks like a floating shark with scissors glued to its face. Even stranger? Scientists still debate how it actually closed its jaws without looking ridiculous. Xenacanthus, the swamp shark with a spine. Meet Xenacanthus, the shark that traded oceans for freshwater swamps and rivers. Living about 300 million years ago, it looked less like a great white and more like an eel with fins. It grew up to 20 feet long, but its weirdest feature was a long spine sticking out of the back of its head, possibly venomous. Think of it as a prehistoric shark with a built-in spear. Its teeth were V-shaped, perfect for eating crustaceans and smaller prey. Fossils show it lived all over the world, meaning if you were a small fish in a swamp, you weren't safe anywhere. If normal sharks are jet fighters, Xenacanthus was a submarine with a bayonet stuck on top. Basically, evolution's attempt at a shark cosplay experiment. Megalodon, the ocean titan. No list of monster sharks is complete without Megalodon. Living 23 to 30 million years ago, this giant was the heavyweight champ of sharks. Estimates put it at up to 60 feet long, with teeth bigger than human hands. Its bite force was over 40,000 pounds, enough to crush a car like a soda can. Fossil evidence shows it hunted whales, leaving giant bite marks in their bones. Picture an animal so big it could swallow you whole without noticing. Some scientists think Megalodon cruised warm oceans, ambushing prey from below like today's great whites, but on steroids. Sadly, or luckily, it went extinct as oceans cooled and food sources dwindled. Still, its legend survives in every what-if shark movie ever made. The Meg was cheesy, but Megalodon was real. Cladoselache, the speed demon. One of the earliest known sharks, Cladoselache swam the seas over 370 million years ago. At 6 feet long, it wasn't huge, but it was terrifyingly fast. Its streamlined body and stiff fins made it one of the first true pursuit predators in shark history. Fossils even preserve its stomach contents, including whole fish swallowed in one gulp. Unlike modern sharks, it didn't replace its teeth continuously. Once it lost them, they were gone. Still, its speed and agility made it an apex predator of the Devonian seas. Think of it as the prototype great white, except sleeker and more efficient than most of its contemporaries. If sharks are fighter jets today, Cladoselache was the Wright brothers' prototype, and still scary enough to ruin your day. All right, I will be posting more videos here, so slam that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. This helps us to rank better in the YouTube algorithm. Stethacanthus, the anvil shark. Now this one takes the prize for weirdest shark design. Stethacanthus, living 360 million years ago, had a bizarre flat structure on its back shaped like an anvil or ironing board. Covered in tiny spiky denticles, it looked like a floating landing pad. Scientists think males used it for display, intimidation, or even mating rituals. Picture a shark with an ironing board strapped to its back, swimming confidently like that's normal. At around 6 feet long, it wasn't the biggest predator, but its weird dorsal anvil makes it unforgettable. Its teeth suggest it was a carnivore, eating fish and soft-bodied prey. Honestly, Stethacanthus looks less like a shark and more like an early concept sketch someone forgot to erase. The prehistoric seas were weird. Hybodus, the two-toothed shark. Hybodus was a shark that tried to do everything at once. Living from the late Permian to the Cretaceous, it survived over 200 million years, proof of its adaptability. About 6 feet long, Hybodus had two different kinds of teeth, sharp ones at the front for grabbing fish, and flat ones at the back for crushing shellfish. Basically, it was the Swiss Army knife of sharks. Fossils show it lived worldwide, dominating both coastal seas and deeper waters. It also had spines in front of its dorsal fins, possibly for defense against bigger predators. Hybodus wasn't the scariest shark ever, but it was one of the most versatile, surviving longer than many of its monstrous cousins. Think of it as the shark that always had a backup plan. Ptychodus, the shell crusher. At first glance, Ptychodus looked like a giant filter feeder, but its teeth told another story. This Cretaceous shark, reaching up to 30 feet long, had broad, flat teeth arranged like pavement, perfect for crushing clams, oysters, and other shellfish. Instead of hunting whales like Megalodon, it prowled shallow seas, hoovering up anything with a shell. Fossils show its remains alongside masses of crushed mollusks, proving it was the ocean's ultimate shell cracker. Imagine a shark the size of a bus, not with dagger teeth, but with a built-in nutcracker smile. It may not have been the deadliest shark, but it was definitely one of the weirdest. Basically, if Megalodon was a chainsaw, Ptychodus was an industrial blender. Cretoxyrhina, the Ginsu shark. Nicknamed the Ginsu shark, Cretoxyrhina lived during the late Cretaceous and grew up to 25 feet long. Its razor-sharp teeth and streamlined body made it the great white of its time. Fossils show it hunted large marine reptiles, including mosasaurs and plesiosaurs. Imagine a shark powerful enough to take on sea monsters straight out of Jurassic World. Cretoxyrhina wasn't the biggest, but it was one of the most efficient killers of its age. With a body built for speed and a mouth full of knives, it dominated the seas until its extinction about 82 million years ago. Basically, it was the ocean's serial killer, slicing and dicing anything foolish enough to cross its path. Scapanorhynchus, the living fossil. Scapanorhynchus was a prehistoric shark that looked oddly familiar because its relatives still swim today. Known as the goblin shark's ancestor, Scapanorhynchus lived about 100 million years ago. Like its modern goblin cousin, it had an elongated snout packed with sensory organs and protruding jaws that could snap forward like a spring-loaded trap. It grew up to 15 feet long and likely ambushed prey in deep waters. Fossils of Scapanorhynchus have been found worldwide, showing it was a successful predator across oceans. If you think modern goblin sharks look like nightmares, their ancestors were just as creepy. This shark proves some designs are too terrifying to go extinct entirely. Anisopleurodontis, the mystery shark. Anisopleurodontis is one of the lesser-known prehistoric sharks, but that doesn't make it less bizarre. Found in Triassic deposits, it had unusual asymmetrical teeth, sharper on one side than the other. Scientists think this may have given it a strange bite, tearing prey unevenly like a prehistoric bread knife. Its fossils are fragmentary, so we don't know exactly what it looked like. But evidence suggests it was a mid-sized predator, maybe 10 to 15 feet long. Some paleontologists argue it filled a niche between swift hunters and ambush predators, specializing in tearing softer-bodied prey. Even though it's not as famous as Megalodon, its odd teeth prove sharks experimented with some very weird designs before settling on today's models. If you've watched to this point, slam that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. This helps us to rank better in the YouTube algorithm.